I've decided to try and restore this little spanner which I found in the ground. I've tried WD-40, it's C solid, but I'm going to try and make it look like new again. Another little project. I'll let you know how I get on. Here's a story from my life. Let's call it The Day Jimmy Found Some Peace and Quiet. Jimmy is my mother's latest husband. He is a proper husband, proper in the sense that they were legally married in the registrar's office. As usual in momentous occasions in Mum's life, I wasn't at the actual ceremony, but I have seen photographic evidence that a marriage occurred, and I also noticed that Mum had a new outfit and a new hat. They've been married for about 3 years now, which is quite an achievement, given that Mum inflicts verbal cruelty on him daily and blames Jimmy for practically everything, including all her own shortcomings. Jimmy is a quiet, dour man of few words, but when he does rise to the bait, the resulting arguments can be quite terrifying. Nothing physical, apart from Mum hurling objects at him, but extremely loud and nasty. I found the arguments so unsettling that at the age of 14, I once again found myself in care and resident in a local children's home. Today being rather different than normal though, I'm back with Mum and Jimmy for a few days. It's quiet in the house, apart from the loud tick-tock of the clock. Mum is in the kitchen, and I'm sitting on the new settee in the living room, trying to read a magazine. But because I'm constantly glancing towards the door, I keep losing my place. I'm nervous because I keep expecting Jimmy to walk through the door. Mum says there's nothing to be nervous about, because Jimmy is in the bedroom. He is definitely dead, and the lid of his coffin is screwed down very tight. There must be a draught coming from somewhere, because shivers keep running up my back. Earlier, there had been lots of friends and neighbours around to pay their respects and look at Jimmy lying in his coffin. Everyone was dressed in their Sunday best clothes, and the smell of mothballs, shoe polish, tobacco smoke, boiled egg sandwiches, and brill cream was pervasively strong in the air. The women were drinking sherry in little glasses. "Just a very small one for me, please, Muriel." And the men were knocking back Jimmy's best whiskey. If he wasn't already dead, Jimmy would have had a heart attack at the measures they were pouring themselves. He liked to be hospitable, not philanthropic. I'd never seen a dead body before, and I was reluctant to look, but Mum said I had to, so that I could properly pay my respects, whatever that meant. The person in the coffin did not look like Jimmy. It looked like a skeleton. Jimmy was a burly ex-wrestler. Mum sensed what I was thinking. "He lost a lot of weight while he was ill," she said. I was not convinced it was him, but everyone else seemed to recognize him. They stood and looked for a few seconds and spoke to each other about what a fine man he had been and how much he would be missed at the bowls club, things like that. One woman peered into the coffin and exclaimed, "Oh my word, Muriel, he does look well," at which several people nodded and murmured agreement. He didn't, though. He looked like a dead man who was very ill. Just before they screwed down the coffin lid, Mum said I should give Jimmy a kiss. I thought it was a weird thing to do and didn't want to do it, but I didn't want to make a fuss about it, so I leaned over and kissed him on the forehead. It was like kissing old marble, cold marble, although why I thought that I have no idea, having never kissed marble in my life, neither warm nor cold. That was the first time I'd ever kissed Jimmy, or indeed shown any affection towards him at all. It wasn't that I didn't like him. I didn't know him. My feelings were quite ambivalent. Besides, men did not show their emotions in those days. It was considered unmanly. It was a long time after his death that I began to understand his character, as well as the realization of just how fond of him I had been. It was cancer that got him. He was 64 years old. It had been a tough life, most of it spent working in the quarry. He was just a few months off retiring. Poor Jimmy. All that hard work, and he never even got the gold pocket watch. Hey, it's the next day. Here's your... That's as far as I'm going with it. Took me ages to get the wheel, grind through that wheel so that I could actually make it work. I'm doing this on my phone, but it does work. Anyway, that's it. I was just determined not to actually give up on it. Thanks for looking in. It'll never be used. Unless by a jeweller or something, very delicately. There you go. Thanks for looking in. See you later. Look after yourselves.